everyone, my name is Junine Castin. I'm an admissions coordinator for special events at the University of North Florida. We're gonna wait a couple of moments for everyone who wants to be here to join. And so in the meantime, if you'd like to kind of put in the chat where you're tuning in from, I'd love to give your town, city, continent a shout out. I currently am in Jacksonville. I've been here for about 6 years. I graduated from UNF in 2018 and I've been working here ever since. We're working in Jacksonville ever since. A couple more moments and then we will be ready to get started. Like I mentioned, as you're joining us, if you want to go ahead and put in the chat where you're tuning in from, what town, city, state, I'd love to give it a shout out. I think about 15 more seconds. Let's see everyone who's here. Okay, I think we are ready to go ahead and get started. So as I mentioned, oh wait, I see a couple things in the chat. I don't want to miss it. I see somebody from Jax. Hello. I see somebody as well from Kissimmee. Oh my goodness. First of all, hello neighbors to the two of you. I'm originally from Kissimmee, Florida, so that's amazing. I don't often meet people from Kissimmee, so that's great. Okay, so let me go ahead and get started. My name is Junine Castin. Like I mentioned, I'm an admissions coordinator for special events at the University of North Florida, and thank you so much for joining us today. We know that under normal circumstances, the process of choosing what university to go to can be stressful, and so our faculty and staff are here to help you with any questions and concerns you may have, and I'm very excited for today's webinar. We've got a jam-packed schedule. On the agenda, we've got a presentation by the Associate Dean of the College of Education and Human Services, Dr. Jennifer Kane. And before that, we're gonna have some introductions and some folks who are gonna tell you a little bit about what they do in the college. And at the end, we're gonna have a student panel. Those students will introduce themselves a little later down the line. So hold tight for that. But throughout the presentation, if you have any questions, feel free to submit them to the Q&A box located at the bottom of your screen. We've got a lot of folks in there ready to answer your questions, even if they are admissions based. We've got an admissions coordinator in there, Roger Katangi, who's going to be answering your admissions-based questions, as well as some reps from the College of Education and Human Services. So enough from me rambling. I'm going to go ahead and make way for the Associate Dean, Dr. Kane, to go ahead and introduce herself and get started.
Hi, my name is Dr. Jennifer Kane, and I am the Associate Dean for the College of Education and Human Services, but I also am a professor of sport management. So I teach in the sport management program. So I look forward to getting to know you all, and I do hope that you enjoy this webinar. And I know that it is unusual to not be able to join us in person, but we are just as excited to have you on virtually today. So welcome.
Good afternoon. I'm Kathy O'Farrell, the Director of Academic Support and Information Services, and it's more commonly known as the Oasis. And this is a unit that you would want to get to know very well. We encompass all kinds of support services for our students, ranging from recruitment to academic advising, to career development, to clinical logistics, to resources for testing. So it is a place where we touch all of the students all of the time.
Hello, everyone. My name is Patty Palmer, and I am the coordinator for career and employer services for the College of Education and Human Services. I am also a proud Osprey and a graduate from UNF. I provide personalized career exploration and preparation and development to students regarding their career goals. So a few of the resources that are available through my office include individual career counseling, resume and cover letter assistance, networking skills, interview skill preparation, and job search strategies. So thanks for joining us today.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Jade Ewan, and I serve as the coordinator of outreach and recruitment. So my primary role is to work with students as they transition from either a high school setting or a state college setting to ease their transition into the university for our college programs. I'm also, like Patty mentioned, a proud alum of UNF. I received both my bachelor's and master's degrees from UNF, so very proud of our institution, and I'm happy to be working here alongside my colleagues. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Haley Sackett, and I am one of 3 academic advisors that we have in the Oasis office. As advisors, regardless of what institution you are at, our primary role is to help make sure that you are taking the right courses for whatever major or minor you are interested in to help you get to graduation. I personally advise for our ASL English Interpreting majors, deaf education majors, exceptional student education majors, disability services majors, and our elementary education majors.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Randall Crawford, and I'm responsible for advising sport management majors as well as secondary education majors, and looking forward to meeting you when you get on campus and assisting you in any way that we possibly can.
Hi, everybody. My name is Danny Ross. I am also an academic advisor. I work with students in the early childhood education program through our pre-K education program, as well as our early childhood development program. And I'm super excited to work with y'all, and I'm happy to serve you in any way I can.
Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about admission requirements for both our teacher education majors and our ASL English Interpreting major. We have a whole host of teacher education majors, anywhere from pre-K primary education to elementary, middle school math science, a host of secondary education majors, deaf education, and exceptional student education. In order to be admitted to the College of Education, you need at least 60 hours or your AA degree, a cumulative GPA of at least a 2.5 or better in all college level coursework, passing scores on all 4 sections of the Florida General Knowledge or the GK exam, and a prerequisite of EDF 1005, which is Intro to the Teaching Profession. If you are interested in any of our teacher education majors, there may be additional course prerequisites. For instance, biology education will have that Intro to Teaching Profession, as well as a host of science courses as prerequisites. Same thing with math education. So you can check out our website for a list of prerequisites for your specific major. The Florida General Knowledge or the GK exam is kind of your top priority as you are looking at admission requirements for teacher education programs. Due to COVID-19, everything is a little bit backlogged. So we recommend prepping and scheduling for your GK exam as soon as you can. The closer you are to your high school or AA level math courses and English courses, the easier the content is for you because it's a little bit more top of mind. So the longer you wait to take that exam, kind of the more difficult that content is for you to remember. And we also have a disability services concentration in our exceptional student education major. The prerequisites are the same as I listed for teacher education, except the general knowledge exam is not required. In terms of ASL English Interpreting, our students are admitted every fall semester, and we admit about 35 students to our program. We admit transfer students, so you must apply by March 31st for fall admission that same year. You are required to have a 2.75 or higher GPA and a B or better in ASL 1, 2, Intro to Interpreting, and ENC 1101. There are a host of other interpreting prerequisites that you must take. As the advisor for that program, I will work with you specifically to make sure that you are taking those courses in the right order to prepare you for a limited access screening process that you must pass in order to get admitted. I definitely recommend checking out our website for those additional course prerequisites and any other information you may have questions about in terms of the ASL English Interpreting program.
Just a little bit about the sport management program and the requirements for this program. The GPA is 2.0. And students must also add a minor to this degree program. And you can see listed the 7 minors that you're able to choose from. And when choosing a minor, you choose one that will complement your sport management major so that when you graduate, to make you more marketable and more employable. Also, the prerequisites for this degree are principles of financial accounting, principles of macroeconomics, and intro to sport management. And also within this degree program is your last 2 semesters, you're required to take a practicum, which is like a mini internship, and an internship as well. But if you have any questions about the program itself, this is a quick overview. Please feel free to reach out to me. And I think I'm going to turn it over to Danny now to talk about early childhood development.
Hi, so the Early Childhood Development Program is a non-licensing program. It helps prepare you for careers in early education teachers, directors, coaches, child advocacy. And to be admitted into the program, you are required to have 60 credit hours or your AA degree and a 2.0 GPA of college work, or 2.0 or above GPA in all your college level coursework. And Intro to Teaching as a credit is required to be admitted into the program. Like Randall and excuse me, Haley said, please check out our website and please reach out to us if you have any more questions or concerns.
Hi again, it's Jennifer Kane, Associate Dean, and I'm going to talk through a little bit about our college and give you some information about it. We're super excited about how beautiful our campus is. So I know that you're not able to see it now, but hopefully you'll be able to make a visit sometime before you actually make your decision. You can see from this picture, we have a lot of green space. This is a picture of our building. It's fairly new, it's beautiful inside, and our students and faculty take a lot of pride in our facility. So hopefully you'll get to see that sometime. I want to talk about some of the things that we like to brag about in our college. First of all, we have 15 majors and 11 minors in the college. We have, last year we started 2 living learning communities, which are really targeted housing for like majors. And we have our Making a Difference in Education LLC, which is we call MADE. And that is, again, for those students who are interested in careers in education, majors in education. And then we also have our ASL Zone LLC, which is for students interested in majoring in ASL English Interpreting, our deaf education major, or really for anybody who is just interested in being around others who use sign language and have an interest in ASL. And we do offer ASL service courses, ASL 1 through 4 in our college. We also have a really cool STEP lab. It's a Solve, Tinker, Explore, and Play lab. And this is new to our college. And it's a place where we bring students in from outside, so our K-12 students in the community, but also we bring in our pre-service teachers where they can learn how to teach STEM-related content. And there's all kind of cool things in there like Legos and drones and robots and all types of hands-on ideas on how to teach some concepts that are sometimes hard for students in math and science. So we're really proud of that. So that's something I would recommend taking a look at if you're ever on our campus. In our elementary ed, middle school math, science, and special ed secondary teacher education programs, one of the things that students often have trouble with is that, doing a full-time internship without any type of pay is sometimes a hardship. So one of the things that we've worked on is that we do have a program, it's a teacher education program only, where students can receive a stipend for a year, and they stay in the same school. It's called Jacksonville Teacher Residency. And so it's similar to like a hospital residency where students are really embedded into a school They're working hands-on with students, and they're also able to receive a stipend for that work. And it's something that we have found to be unique to UNF, and so it's something that we really are proud of. 81% of our graduates take new positions in local schools, so we do have a lot of students who come to Jacksonville or like to stay in Jacksonville. They fall in love with our schools and our school districts, surrounding districts, and we've had a lot of success in our students getting positions right out of the program. One of the reasons for that is we have what are called professional development schools. And those are selected schools where students are, they're sometimes taking their coursework in those schools. Our faculty are in those schools. We have a very close relationship and partnership with those schools so that two things happen. Our students get better instruction and better support as they're learning how to be teachers. And then also the school gets better because we have so much support and so much help for those students and teachers in those schools. So we're really proud of the work that we do in Duval County in our professional development schools, and also Clay County, which is another district that surrounds us. We are the only public university in Florida that has an accredited bachelor's degree in American Sign Language English Interpreting. It's a very highly renowned program. Our faculty are amazing researchers and practitioners, and they are, it's just a terrific program. We are the only public university to offer a deaf education program. So another program that we are very excited about, and both of those two programs our students also get a lot of hands-on and practical experience in the community. And then our sport management program has been ranked #4 in the country. And we are one of only 54 programs with a worldwide accreditation by the Commission on Sport Management Accreditation called COSMA. And as you could imagine, sport management is, Jacksonville is a great place for sport management majors because we have an awful lot of sport in Jacksonville. So our students get a lot of opportunities to work with our surrounding sport management organizations. So you can see from this list, we have, again, as I mentioned, we have a lot of majors and a lot of minors. Now, some students ask, do I have to select a minor? And that's a really good question. So I just want to talk about that for just a minute. There are a lot of majors where where a minor is built into the coursework. So in our sport management program, as Randall mentioned, all of the students are required to select a minor. And what the minor does is it just gives you a chance to specialize in an area within sport management. So some of those include community sport and tourism, fitness management. We also have some minors that students can choose outside the college in business administration, communications. So it just gives students a chance to take a select number of courses in one particular area so that when they get out of college and finish the degree, they have a little bit of an area of specialization that they can market themselves to certain jobs. And we are really proud of our leadership minor. That is a minor that serves the entire university. It's housed in our college. And that leadership minor is available to students in our college, and we do encourage students to participate in that if possible. So if you have any questions about any of those majors or minors, our advising staff are, all of them can talk very deep about the benefits of majors and minors if you have any questions. And this is a picture of some of our students out in the field working with students. It looks like our pre-K primary or early childhood education students. So looking forward to some new things happening in fall of 2020, we are going to have a fully online undergraduate sport management degree option. And so students who are at the junior level, so it's not the first 2 years, this is the last 2 years of the degree. But our sport management students who choose this option would take all of their courses in sport management online, and then they would be also doing an online marketing minor. And so they could do the entire last 2 years fully online. You do not have to be in the Jacksonville area. We are really excited about this. We're partnering with our Coggin College of Business. They offered that marketing minor, and we really think that it's going to be a very popular and a great major to prepare students to work in marketing in a sport management organization. So another new opportunity is we have a new concentration in our exceptional student education undergraduate degree called Disability Services. And this is a non-teacher teacher licensure program, so students aren't coming out of this degree with a licensure to teach, but rather they would work in organizations that work with early childhood age children. So, students with disabilities or individuals with disabilities. So nonprofit agencies and community organizations. So we're really excited about this, and we think it's going to be a very popular concentration for our college. And this is a picture of one of our students teaching. All right, I mentioned a little bit about this, but I just want to make sure that that you all understand how much we work to get our students out in the field, regardless of their major. Our tagline is partnering to make the world a better place. And in order to do that, we have to get our students out into the world, right? To get the experience that they need. So I mentioned our partnerships with our local school systems that really put students in the field early in their career, so they really get a hands-on experience and know what they're getting into. You know, it's not, I would really think twice about selecting a program that lets you get all the way through without really having much experience in the field, because, you sometimes can get finished and go, wait, I didn't even know that's what I was going to be doing. So we want to engage students early in those practical experiences. So I mentioned our teacher education programs, but also our ASL English Interpreting students participate in partnerships with authentic simulations with Brooks College of Health in medical and interpreting. Our students in sport management, I think we have a picture coming up of the Jacksonville Jaguars, but Jacksonville has a host of sport organizations here. The Jumbo Shrimp, we have the PGA Tour headquarters here. The Association for Tennis Professionals is here. We have a lot of water sports, so we're close to the coast. So we have surfing and all types of organizations that students can choose from. We bring both practitioners in, and then we also send our students out to the field so that they can gain the experience that they need to be successful. As I mentioned, there's a picture of our Jacksonville Jaguars. We certainly hope we can get back to playing sports soon and watching sports soon. But we're certainly proud of our partnership with the Jaguars. We have several students in our sport management program who work there now and who do internships there on a regular basis. And these are pictures of our STEP lab that I mentioned, the Solve, Tinker, Explore, and Play lab. You can see students down playing with robots and working with Lego kits. We also have some life-size blocks that are really fun to play with. And so again, it just helps us better teach concepts that sometimes are hard for students to learn unless they have their hands on and really working with tangible items to better understand those concepts. So just to show you some career opportunities in education, sometimes students think, you know, unfortunately, there's, you know, I don't want to be a teacher. Teachers don't make a lot of money. But if you look at this, you can see that, first of all, teachers don't do too bad, especially as they start out. But you can see that there's a lot of upward mobility in education. So it doesn't have to stop with being a teacher. There's a lot of upward mobility, and with that mobility, there's also an increase in salaries. So you can kind of take a look at that and see that there are other careers related to education that you might consider. This is one of our deaf education faculty members teaching. And these are some career opportunities in ASL English Interpreting. And again, just to kind of look at not only that entry-level position, but also some upward mobility that is available within the ASL English Interpreting field. And also the different kind of ways in which kind of specializations you can have with interpreting. As I mentioned, there's medical interpreting, there's federal court interpreting. So there's all different types of places where individuals can interpret. And these are some opportunities in sport management. So you can see also, again, some entry-level salaries, and then as you move around to more management and upper management salaries, you can actually make quite a bit of money in this industry. But again, you know, one thing we do in sport management is make sure students understand it takes a lot of work. And when sport is being played on nights and weekends, a lot of other people are not working. So you have to be really willing to put in that time to work when a lot of other people are off. So, but a lot of opportunities in this field. And then I wanted to just give you a little bit of information about our study abroad program. And these, you know, there were a lot of disappointed students this summer that weren't able to go on their study abroads. We had a really cool trip planned to Italy to learn about Maria Montessori that was canceled, and a couple of others. So we hope to have our study abroad program up and going again soon, but you can see England, Belize, Poland, Austria, Haiti, Australia, Italy, South Korea are some of our trips. And we have a trip or more for all of the majors in our college. So there's opportunities for everyone, and there's also an opportunity to earn an international education certificate, which goes on your transcript and is something that I think many employers like to see. And scholarships and fellowships. So our dean works really hard with our director of development to continually raise money for scholarships. So you can see here over time how much the amounts of money that we have been able to raise has increased. So if you look at 17-18 and you see that number compared to the 19-20 number, you can see that we're committed to trying to find money for students for scholarships. And these are scholarships that are available your last 2 years once you enter the college. So these are not scholarships that you would be looking for right now, but I certainly would recommend you look at what's available so that when the time comes, you can, you know, if there's something that you're interested in, that you can see what those requirements are and start working towards meeting those requirements as soon as possible. Some have a GPA requirement, So you might want to just pay attention to that. And we would love to connect with you. And here are some ways you can do that. We have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and we have a director of communication who is consistently and constantly sharing the good work that we do. So I really encourage you to join us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And wanted to just make sure you've met Jade Ewing. Jade is our director for recruitment and outreach, and she knows everything. And if she doesn't, she knows who to find out answers from. So reach out to Jade if you have any questions. Her contact information is on the screen, and I know you'll hear from her more today. But we really appreciate you joining us. And if I can answer any questions, if you want to put anything in the chat, or if you want to email me, please do. But I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit more about UNF, and we would love to see you in person. Again, thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kane, and for everyone who already introduced themselves and let us know a little bit about what they do within the college. And now I think is a great time for us to transition to our student panel. So I'm going to ask all of our students on this webinar today to go ahead and turn on their cams to get ready. And before we go ahead and get started with the questions, I'm going to allow for some time for our panelists to introduce themselves to you, starting with Andrea.
Hello, everyone. My name is Andrea Zentz, and I am a recent graduate of the University of North Florida in elementary education. And as of 3 days ago, I am now a second grade teacher at Freedom Crossing Academy. And I'm very excited to get started, and I owe it all to UNF and the College of Ed.
Congrats, by the way.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Joey Henricks. I actually just graduated in spring 2020 myself. My major was English education for secondary, so 6th through 12th grade. And I actually just got a job last week as well as an 8th grade teacher teaching ELA at Fletcher Middle School.
Goodness, I love this. Okay, go ahead.
Hi everybody, my name is Annalisa Gammon. I am also a spring 2020 graduate. I studied exceptional student education, which is a K through 12 certification, and my minor was in American Sign Language. Congrats to y'all for getting your jobs. I'm actually starting graduate school at UNF in August, and I will be studying our disability services program.
Hello, my name is Wes Homewood. I am a graduate of UNF. I graduated in December and was hired in January as a 5th grade teacher of the deaf at the Florida School for the Deaf and Blind.
Hi everyone, my name is Tylin Osorio. I am in the ASL English Interpreting program major. I'm a senior. I'm actually going to be graduating at the end of July, the summer semester. And yeah.
All right, thank you everyone. As you can all tell, oh, I'm so sorry, go for it.
No, you're good. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Gary Monahan. I'm a recent grad, spring 2020, of our sport management program at the college. Thank you for being here with us today.
All right, thank you all for your introductions. And as everyone at home can tell, these folks know a lot about this program and what to do afterwards. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. So for everyone, how did you decide on your major?
So for me, it was pretty easy because my entire family, we're all teachers. So everyone that knows us knows that teaching is our family business. And the reason why I chose elementary education is because I just love the age group. I love how eager they are to learn all the time. I love how much they love you and respect you and look up to you. And you are a big part of their human growth and development for their entire life ahead. So that's how I chose my major, and I will never look back or regret it.
Thank you. Joey?
Yeah, so I actually worked a ton of different really unfulfilling jobs and eventually got to the point where I was just like, I need to do something that I love. I need to be like making a positive impact on the world. What can I do? So I thought about like what I love, and reading and writing and human expression. Those are things that I really care about and am passionate about. And I figured I could couple that with making an impact on students by becoming becoming a teacher. So that's why I majored in English education.
Okay, so my younger brother has autism, and I have grown up in the disability community, and I've always known that I wanted to do something in it, but I wasn't sure if I wanted to go more occupational therapy or education. And once I got to college and realized the amount of math and science behind occupational therapy, disability services and special education really started to click with me and having that hands-on experience. So that's where I found my home in College of Education.
I changed my major about 5 times, but I was set on my minor of ASL and Deaf Studies. And through my minor, I studied abroad with the Deaf Education Program in Haiti. And during that time, I just fell in love with the program, fell in love with the professors. And when we got back to the States, I changed my major and haven't looked back.
Awesome.
While I was in the process of changing my majors as well, I was taking ASL classes at my local community college, and I ended up being a student with a hard of hearing student there, and he already knew sign language, and we became really close. But he showed me the deaf culture. He showed me like how the deaf community is and how sign language is just such a great language and very expressive and honestly really beautiful. And I just kind of fell in love with it. And I still wanted to work with people. I originally was going to be a teacher, and I still wanted to do some of that like social work. So I decided to do interpreting.
So I decided on sport management. My family's also been in the business of teaching. So my dad, after he graduated college, played for about 32 seconds in the NFL, and so I've kind of followed the same path. Obviously, didn't play in the NFL, but you know, as an athlete all my life, and you know, sports has always been a huge part of everything I've done. And so I decided that I wanted to stay around it for as long as I could and make a career out of it.
That's fantastic. I really love this next question because you guys already touched upon some of this experience in your initial answers. And I know students and parents really, really love to know what is the point of going to college if after in the real world you don't have that experience. And so the question is, how do you feel that UNF and the College of Education and Human Services has prepared you to be an effective educator, interpreter, or sport management professional?
So from the very start of my program, they automatically place you into schools. They want you to have as much exposure as possible to the schools. And they also want you to get as much exposure to different grade levels, different types of schools, whether if it's an urban school, inner city. And so you really get to see it all. And that is very important to see it all. And I really appreciate that. And I appreciate all the resources that our professors give us and all of our methods courses. They've allowed us to create stuff that we'll bring into our own classrooms, such as math toolkits, lesson plans that we can use in our classroom, and so much more. So they really do prepare you, and it just makes me even more excited to get started with everything that I have. Thank you to UNF.
I have to agree with that answer. The field experience that you get is just invaluable. You can't even put a price on it. It's something that solidified my desire to be a teacher as soon as I had my first observations in the intro to education class. It was like, this is exactly what I want to do. It was perfect. And then throughout the rest of the program, you're just involved in so many different field opportunities where you're observing or you're also creating lesson plans. And then ultimately, when you get into your internship, you're taking over a class. And for me personally, during the presentation, they were talking about programs that have stipends and the Jacksonville teacher residency. I actually was a participant in that. I'm actually still participating in it because it goes from pre-planning to post-planning with the Duval County school year. So I was in a year-long internship at the same school, and I just feel like I'm going into my first year of teaching by myself as a second-year teacher. So I'm very prepared.
So back to what they said, we have such an amazing like hands-on experience within the schools, but I also felt that like my education at UNF was just so hands-on. From starting in small cohorts and traveling with the same group of people throughout the program, I really got close with everybody I was with, and we have just a very tight cohort where I could feel like I could ask them questions at any time if I felt concerned, or my professors were always just very easily accessible. And especially if you go into exceptional student education, I mean, I really had some of the best professors who really made me feel comfortable asking questions all the time. And I never felt like anything that I asked would be dumb or judged at all. They really took care of us in this program.
So as everyone has said so far, the hands-on experience was incredible. In deaf education, we have 3 practicums plus our internship. And during that time, they really get you into every setting you could possibly do in deaf education, which is itinerant. So you travel from different schools, a self-contained, which would be like a public school with a classroom with deaf and hard of hearing students, deaf with disabilities, or a residential school, like the Floor School for the Deaf and Blind, where the kids live on campus. And so it's really like cool to touch on everything that's a possibility now. And same with the exceptional ed program. You start in a cohort, you travel with the same group, you really become a family. And now I reach out to those people as their teachers now and ask them, hey, how would you do this? Or ask for advice and tips, and they do the same thing. And we had 2 main professors. And so you really get to know your professors. I still reach out to my professors, ask questions, or even just like check up on them, because you become close with them because you have them for 2 years and they're interested in what you're doing after graduation. And so I feel like I'm still a part of the UNF family even after graduation.
I would have to kind of agree with literally everybody else. The internship experience so far has been one of the most valuable experiences I have found here at the university, but also in my career and life. I'm actually interning with the Disability Resource Center at UNF with their staff interpreters, and that has been one of like the best experiences and has really developed my skills more than I ever thought that they could. But on top of that, being a great and valuable resource / requirement is the newly founded ASL zone, which is run by the director of the ASL program, who's deaf. So that is an amazing resource that I wish that I would have had the chance to use as a freshman or sophomore. And then they also have the ASL zone, or the ASL lab, which is available Monday through Friday. And those are also native deaf people that are running those labs, which is great because when I first came to UNF, my ASL skills were nowhere near close to decent, and they really helped me with anything that I needed help with and really skyrocketed my skills in like a matter of less than 2 semesters even. And then also the professors are just absolutely wonderful and amazing. They're for you. And we also have a cohort that we run through for the last 2 years. We start together and we end together, and that is a very like big impact on all of us as well. And we still are keeping in contact with each other even after graduation.
So many similarities again with the sport management program. One of the few differences is the sport management program is a little larger, so we're the largest program in the college. But that doesn't mean that you're so big, we're so big that you don't get to know, your classmates. So I've traveled around, or when I was in the program, traveled around, my major with the same folks. So you still get to build that tight sense of community. And a remarkable thing about our program, I think, is all of our faculty, or most of our faculty, have work experience in the industry. So you are asking questions of people who have done the jobs that you want to do, I think, which is, it's been mentioned previously. And that's one of the great things, not only about our college, but about UNF. The people that the university hires, to the faculty and the staff are just remarkable all the way around. And the biggest piece of advice that helped me from a faculty member was get out and into the industry and into the community as soon as possible, because you can't get too much experience while you're in college, and use the status of student to your advantage, because there's a lot of folks that will want to help as much as they can. When you're a student and you're hungry for knowledge and you're hungry to learn, about the industry and what you think you might want to do. So use that status of student for as long as you can.
Thanks, everyone. I especially like what you said about using the status of student to your advantage. UNF is great in that the professors are incredibly qualified, just impressive people. And yet there's this accessibility that almost feels as though, I don't know, there's no pretense, there's no airs. The true purpose is to help each student get to where they need to be. And so I think you all really highlighted that really well. And it kind of takes me to my next question in regards, and you may have already touched on this a little bit, but just in regards to extracurriculars or just being involved on campus, are you currently or were you involved with any extracurricular experiences at UNF? For example, clubs, organizations, research, on-campus jobs, study abroad, internships, etc. And if so, how has that impacted your experience at UNF?
So one of the main things I did at UNF, because I was a transfer student, so I was at UNF for 2 years, was right away I got into the ambassador program at the College of Ed and Human Services. And you are the face of the college in that program. You get to really know everyone above and who is in charge of the college. And you just make really close ties with everyone. And I really enjoyed that. You go speak at different schools and talk about why you should come to UNF and why you should become an educator. And it was just a lot of fun. And I'm really glad I did that. I highly recommend it. And another thing I did was I was in the UNF concert band. And the cool thing about the concert band was that people from all over Jacksonville, whether if you're a teacher, a high schooler, a UNF student, you can all come together and create music together. And so that was a lot of fun. And I really enjoyed both of those things I was involved in during my time.
Awesome.
Yeah, so really what I was most involved in was the JTR program, so that Jacksonville Teacher Residency. And just to give a little bit further context for it, it places people, interns, into high needs schools, urban schools, so that, you know, you get an idea of how to become a culturally responsive educator, which is really important in any society. And with that, you're also a part of AmeriCorps, so you're earning service hours. We actually did some community outreach projects as well. We painted houses on Martin Luther King Day, which was really awesome to be out in the community, even though it was freezing. But that was the extent of my extracurriculars. If you have the opportunity to be in that program, I would definitely suggest it, because you get so much more experience and exposure to teaching because you're involved in that same classroom for that entire school year. So, yeah.
So a club that I was a part of at UNF was Best Buddies, and that's part of a larger nonprofit organization. And I've been involved with that since middle school, but when I got to UNF, I've been a part of it for 5 years at UNF, and of those 5 years, I was actually president for 2. So a lot of my growth at UNF came from what I've learned as a leader there. I learned so many fundraising skills. I've learned so many ways to work with volunteers and ways to work with the disability community. I've made a lot of partnerships with our outside larger Jacksonville community, the ARC Jacksonville, Down Syndrome Association of Jacksonville. So it really gave me a deeper context into our disability community here at UNF. And another project that I really worked on through my last year at UNF was including our on-campus transition students in our graduation. And it actually would have happened this year at our spring 2020 graduation, but we can just wait till next year. But that was something that I don't think I would have been able to do had I not had the leadership skills that I learned through Best Buddies and the support of my professors that I was talking about earlier.
Fantastic.
So coming in as a freshman at UNF, I wrestled middle school, high school, and I wanted to keep that on in college, and UNF had a club for wrestling. And so that was a great way to keep my passion, make friends with the same passion, like kind of get my feet wet to the college feel, and still have like that comfort of wrestling. Besides that, the biggest thing I was a part of would be my study abroad trip to Haiti. And it was something I signed up for. I was just like, oh, this would be so much fun. I get to go places, have fun. And I didn't realize the impact it would have on me until I was there, experienced it, and came back and was reflecting. And that is now my job. That's now my career. So something that I got to travel to do had a huge impact on me.
I was a transfer student from a community college in like Central Florida, so I didn't really have the time or opportunity to like join too many clubs, but the one club that I did join in was the ASL club that we have that meets at Starbucks weekly. And that was a great way to be able to meet not only just interpreting students, but it was a great way to meet deaf education students or students that are in the nursing program that want to know more about ASL and things like that. So it was a great way to be able to mingle with other people that aren't necessarily just wanting to do interpreting. Another one of the resources that I used that again was the ASL lab that helped a lot. And then it's not necessarily extracurricular, but in my heart it feels like it is. Our service learning course is one of the most like impactful courses that we have that has you go out into the community, which in this case was the deaf community, and really make those connections that will last you, you know, forever, between the connections through UNF as well as the connections through the deaf community. And in this case for mine, it was the Florida Deaf Blind Association, where we were able to establish a partnership between UNF and FDBA that will continue after graduation for both them as well as for myself, which was really nice.
So when I arrived on campus, I realized, hey, you know, I need a job. So I looked around and found a job at the library. I worked at the library for 2 years. But other than working on campus, obviously I was a College of Education and Human Services ambassador for 2 years. I was a presidential envoy, and I also served as an ambassador for the Taylor Leadership Institute on the Ronald McDonald House project. And then in my senior year, I transitioned from the library to the student union. So there's plenty of opportunities on campus. You know, my plan, like the rest of you, obviously was to be highly involved, and I recommend that for any students that have, you know, decided on UNF or thinking about going to college anywhere. The best thing, in my opinion, you can do for yourself is to get involved on campus as soon as you arrive, because not only do you meet people, but you really get to understand how things work and develop leadership skills. And, you know, all of those things will become a unique part of your college experience.
Thank you, and thank you everyone. I think this is a really good question to highlight. Just when people are thinking of college, it's not just me sitting and then getting lectured at. There's a lot of experiences within my program and then outside of it as well. It's a full experience. You meet so many people, make connections, and you learn a lot about yourself. And it's very exciting to hopefully come to UNF and discover that for themselves. And then finally, really quickly, what is one piece of advice you would share with a future UNF student? So what is one thing you would like these students to take away from this webinar today?
So earlier, we were all talking about how when you're in your specific programs, you really stay with the same cohort of people throughout your time. And my advice is to really take advantage of that, because I was with the same like 100 people during my time. We weren't all in the same class, but like we all like saw each other, and we had like some classes together and stuff. But I have formed some really great friendships through meeting all these people in my program, and they are there to help you. You guys are going through the same things. It's a really big support system pretty much. And I'm so happy that I've met the people that I did. And now that we're all graduated, it's so cool to see what everyone's doing for their next steps, where they're getting jobs at. And so I highly recommend to really take advantage and make friends with the people that you go to class with, because you guys will probably stay in touch for the rest of your lives. So that's my one piece of advice.
Thank you.
Mine would be to build strong relationships with your professors. They're your #1 allies, and they are there to help you. And especially in the College of Education, they're all educators. So they are this really great resource for you, not only on their specific content area, but also just as an educator in general. So I would definitely make sure that you stop by those office hours, have conversations with them. If you need help, reach out to them. They are there for you. So that would be my advice.
So they pretty much just said everything I was thinking. Yeah, that's it. I mean, we have my cohort was 12 people, and it is not hard getting to know 12 people. And it's just really neat. You know, I have like this little group chat, and we're texting each other every day, like, you know, what's the next step in this application process, or who's at what school, who's going to this grad school. And, you know, when one of us would pass one of our certification exams, everybody, it'd be like a big party. Like everybody was just so happy for one another. And it was just like such an uplifting community. And something that someone taught me when I took over Best Buddies as president is they said, leave this chapter better than you found it. And I think that's the same thing that you should do, not only for the clubs that you're involved in, but for your university. And it is not hard to get involved at UNF. I mean, there's just, even though I like to think it's just truly the best school and it's perfect, I know there's always room for improvement everywhere you go. And I think there's so much opportunity here to not only pursue what you want to do to make it a better school, but you have such a group of allied professors and people in your cohort who are there to support you every step of the way.
Any opportunity that you get, say yes to it. You never know what it might lead to, like studying abroad, or as Gary said earlier, use your student title to an advantage, because there's multiple times that I was out observing one teacher and they're like, oh, you're the UNF intern. Like, I got something to show you. This would be real cool. Come with me. And so I got to see a lot of unique things and different approaches to teaching because I was an in-service teacher or a pre-service teacher and on campus. And so any opportunity you get, whether it's helping a professor or study abroad or even on wherever you are, just say yes. You never know what you're going to experience or learn, and it's a lot of fun.
My piece of advice, or sub pieces, is to definitely advocate for yourself. Like everyone said, you're a student, you know, don't stop asking questions. No question is too stupid. Don't ever be afraid to step out of your comfort zone. There are so many, in the interpreting program, there are so many volunteer interpreting opportunities with the STEP Lab, with the Math Counts Bowl, with all types of things in and out of UNF that have been so beneficial to my mental health, to my skills, to everything. It really is important to just step out of that comfort zone and realize that you can do it. You really can. And with that, like, definitely use your professors as an ally. These are long-lasting relationships that you can make with your professors as well as with the students that you meet and mingle with. And, you know, make those relationships in your cohort, but go out of your cohort. Go to those clubs and organizations that, you know, you have an interest in or that you resonate with, and make those long-lasting relationships as well.
Yeah, I will echo all of these things, but add a unique touch. So we've all heard the age-old adage of it's not what you know, it's who you know. Well, I had a professor, you know, when I came to UNF that said in the sport industry, you know, it's one of the most highly competitive industries in the world. So forget that it's not what you know, it's who you know, and replace it with it's not who you know, but who knows you. Because when it's time to get a job or an internship or you're seeking opportunity, you know, it always helps to send an email or make a phone call to someone, you know, who you've worked with in the past or who you've worked for in the past, because they know who you are, they know how you work, and they know your character. And the only way they get to know those things is by you getting out into the community, shaking hands, meeting people, you know, and showing people, demonstrating who you are, your work ethic, and what you stand for, and how you can help their organization or their school or whatever, you know, drive forward and succeed. So my best piece of advice is the sooner the better. Get out in the community, make a difference, whatever your major is, meet people, and do your best to not only represent the UNF brand, but represent yourself as well.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Those were, I mean, as a fellow UNF alum, though I didn't study within the college, I resonate with all of those. Overall, you guys will know when you get to college, when you get to UNF, hopefully, that you're going to need to get comfortable with the uncomfortable, and it's fantastic. And these folks clearly did all of that. And so I want to thank you all for being here, providing your insight and expertise. I want to thank the attendees for also joining us today and taking the time. If you have any questions at all, I've left my email in the chat, j.castin@unf.edu. You have Jade's email as well. Go ahead and email us any questions that you have. If we don't know the answer, we will find somebody who does, because we want to make sure that you know everything and are prepared before you submit that application. And so with that, I'm going to bid everyone a fantastic rest of their day, and I hope you all stay safe out there.